How are you doing?
Good, man. Sorry about that. That show went on for a little bit longer than I thought it was going to.
Yeah, that's alright, isn't it? That's alright. I've tried to entertain us here, so I've talked to chat a bit, so I think we can get straight into it. Let's just start
Yeah.
off. Let's just start off with how do you feel right now with Man City? Like general feel around Man City, the atmosphere and stuff.
I don't know, man. To be honest with you, well, what's happened to my camera?
That you
Camera's
inverted accidentally.
I'm not sure what's happened there. Is my camera okay for you?
Yeah, your camera is okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Sorry, bro. What was the question? I don't know what happened then. My bad. What was the question again?
Yeah, what is the general feel right now around the Man City fan base? I suppose going into Champions League and stuff. What do you think?
I would say it's as good as it can be, given the situation.
Given the situation.
Yeah, I think it's.
You think it's
improved.
improving, though, right?
Yeah, of course. I think it's improving. I think it's definitely improved from like 2 months ago. We're attacking much better as a team. We're actually scoring goals. Some of the players actually have a smile on their face, which is always showing a good morale and that, but still defensive issues. And we're also very aware of what Brugge have, in their recent, 19, 20 games, whatever it is, undefeated.
20 games undefeated.
Yeah, 20 games undefeated. That's good, man.
If Brugge go undefeated against Man City, that would break Anderlecht's record of 21 games. And that's big for the Brugge as well, because obviously, biggest rivals. Rosa said in the chat here, the feeling around City is fickle as hell, let's be honest. Man City is actually winning game. Club Brugge gonna... Yeah, if I look at the poll, by the way, the poll is pretty not good for Man City at the moment.
The what?
Oh, I have a poll in chat right now. Only like 50% is saying that City will win. Only 50%.
Well, that's not good, isn't it? Because we need to win the game. So if we don't win the game,
a bit of bias, to be fair. A bit of bias here on the channel. But for the moment, I think if you look as well around circumstances for the Man City, you've got Arsenal away coming up. Club Brugge have a very poor Antwerp team coming up on our next game. So, do you think Man City is going to rotate or anything against Brugge, or do you think it's going to be full strength here?
We got to go full strength. This is our last game to get into the playoff game. And obviously, he rested John Stones at the weekend against Chelsea, which was another huge game. So I think that one decision shows you just how strong he's going to go in this game. Unfortunately, Mamouche can't play, but we have other players that can play like Sabio and stuff. So, this is going to be the strongest possible 11 he can play because we need to win the game. Simple as that, bro.
Yeah, I hear you, but City should go full strength, I hear, but is that what City is going to do, though? Because a lot of the players around the club right now, do they believe in the Champions League right now? Do they believe that they're going to go far and that they're going to do well?
Well, I don't really think you should think like that, man, because at the end of the day, Champions League, you don't know what's going to happen. Did Chelsea think they was going to win the Champions League when they won it a couple of years ago? Probably not, you know what I mean? So It's irrelevant what you think is going to be the end goal. You take one game at a time. If we beat Bruges, we're into the playoffs, then you deal with that. If you win that, you're in the last 16. Then you deal with that. And then before you know it, you're in the quarterfinal, semi-final. So I don't really think you should we're not going to win it, so what's the point sort of thing. Like, you've got to just go for it and see where you end up, man. You don't buy a ticket, you don't win the raffle, is a saying I like. So, yeah, I think it's going to be full strength. I think the players are going to do everything that they can to get the 3 points. If we do that, will be the playoff round, which is, we'll see where we get from there, man. But, yeah, and we're at home as well. I think that makes a big difference. I think hopefully the stadium can be packed out and rocking and stuff. And, I expect us to get the job done, man. Like, Bruges have got obviously a good record on that in the last 20 games, but I think we'll get the job done if we go full strength tomorrow.
Big up to Luke here in chat as well, from Not In My Lifetime. Go subscribe to him if you haven't already. Don't forget that Bruges, it's about beating their rivals here, I see in chat. For the Man City, it's about going further in our tournaments. They don't really think they're going to win. Well, I think LB has already addressed that, so does Shields. I agree with LB, actually. If if you believe you can go on, just try it. Even if you don't feel like you're good right now, a bit of luck and you can go far in Champions League. And once you're in the final, I mean, it's a coin toss, right? Chelsea did win a final against a much better Man City team. So, unfortunately for the Man City team. So, Man City knows firsthand from losing against Chelsea, I suppose you could say, that you don't need to be good to win it. Because when they lost against Chelsea, Man City wasn't good either. I think he'll be addressed that himself very well. So, with all of that said, I want to actually talk here about the lineups and stuff that we're going to be expecting in the game. So, let me share my screen here with you. Give me a second. So, we're going to go through each team's lineup here, I think. We're going to start with Club Brugge, and because I think we're just going to quickly go through Club Brugge, and then we're going to do what you think is going to happen for Man City. So I do want to quickly talk about our back four, because I think all of these players are too good for us. The Kuiper, I think, is not going to stay much longer. Ordóñez and Seis, very young, breaking through at the moment. I also don't think they will be here next season. Mechelen, of course, has stayed with us out of sheer loyalty. He's a steady Eddie, as they say. He's always getting 7 out of 10s. No matter the level, he's always getting 7 out of 10s, right? So, our entire back line, I feel like, is Premier League level. They're just too good for us. If I look at midfield, there is one problem. Yashari, very good. Who goes next to him? If we have Kasper Nielsen next to Yashari, we have the problem of a lack of work rate. Then we might see Skorash on the right wing to provide that work rate, but then we lack in counter-attacking football, which might not work very well. The other option is Uneditted, and Uneditted is a red card waiting to happen for us. For the rest, I think we are solid. I'm not sure if Nielsen will play or Jutla. Completely different profile strikers. I think it depends on what our plan is. If our plan is hoof the ball up the pitch towards a tall striker, it's going to be Nielsen. If the plan is go wide, it's going to be Jutla starting. So, our threats here for Man City is Solis, I think. Solis is a very good winger. Da Silt here, our channel member, wants him at Bayern München. That's how good he is. I don't rate him that highly, but I mean, if Da Silt thinks so. So, that is it for this. Any right back at Man City right now, I don't think is beating Solis, unless he has a poor game. Jula gonna start Ramses? I'm not sure. So what would you do as a lineup here for the Man City then?
Well, yeah, I mean, I watched Bruges last week against Juventus.
Terrible game by your stats.
Yeah, I thought it was an awful game. I didn't think it was particularly great. However, that Talbi, right winger, I thought he was very sort of active. Thought it was probably one of your best threats in the game. He put a great ball in the box for a header that he probably should have scored.
Which is funny because he tends to be our worst.
Yeah, but I thought he was quite active, so it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. Other than that, don't really know. Did see anything from Bruges. It was very much Juventus dominating the ball and trying to break you down. And it was about that defense. You mentioned the defense was very good, and some of them might not be there next year. Well, I thought the defense was the best part about Bruges, which is ironic given the fact that we need to score against you tomorrow.
And I think that's the best part about City is your attack right now, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it'll be a decent matchup, man. But I don't know. I wouldn't imagine that there'll be too much threat there from Bruges. I think you're going to play it like you did against Juventus and just sort of like defend, keep resolute, try and hit us on the break, which can be a vulnerability for us, man. So, yeah, we'll see, mate. But, yeah, I've only watched Bruges once, and it was last week against Juve, and there wasn't much going on there.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that Talbi, funny you say he's been one of your worst players. I thought he looked pretty decent.
He was good against Juventus, but he tends to be our worst. Like, that was a good game against Juventus, but normally Solis is our best player, or Van Aken. But they were both absent against Juventus. Van Aken was actually sick recently. A lot of fans think it's a conspiracy that he wasn't really sick, that he was pretending to be sick to get rested. I don't buy into that, but he will be fit for the game against Man City. And Solis, terrible game against Juventus, but if he plays at his best, I do think Man City is going to have to put a Kanji there, or going to have to find some way to neutralize Solis, because he's going to bully if he gets against Rico Lewis. Like, you
It'll be
can't have
Nunes.
Nico Lewis.
I think it'll be Nunes right back.
I'm not sure how he'll do against Nunez, but I do think he'll probably have Nunez pretty well, but then Solis needs to get to the ball, so maybe you'll neutralize him by preventing him from getting onto the ball. That can be a problem for Solis at times. How do you think Man City will line up? Like, I'll quickly do a lineup here for Man City.
Yeah, so it'll be Ederson in goal.
I think so.
He'll be back in goal. I think it will be Matheus Nunes at right back.
The reason I'm asking about Ederson is because I'm thinking, in the Champions League, maybe you want it's a bit more solid goalkeeping. Like, Ederson, very good distribution-wise and stuff in the Premier League. But maybe in Champions League, you would prefer something like Ortega, who's a bit better shot stopper.
Nah, I'd rather have Ederson, man, who's miles better on the ball. He can start attacks. He got an assist at the weekend. Like you've got to have him in the team. Centre-backs options, obviously, with John Stones. He was rested for the game against Chelsea. Huge game against Chelsea, but he was rested. Pep Guardiola said he needs to keep him fit for this game, so he'll play. He played really well, actually, when he came on against Chelsea. Just need to hope he can stay fit.
I've got a question, actually.
Yeah.
Vitor Reis, can he play in the Champions League? Because
No,
it's like
he can't play until the playoff.
Yeah,
none of the new signings can play until the playoffs.
There's some weight registration stuff there, isn't it?
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Kanji will play as well. He's the only other fit defender we've got, so he has to play at centre-half. And then, of course, Josko Gvardiol. Another fantastic game from him at the weekend against Chelsea with a goal. Probably should have had a hat-trick. He can play at left-back. And that's a decent defence. Like I say, I don't think we're going to have to do that much defending tomorrow. I think it's mainly going to be about breaking you guys down and just controlling the counter-attacks.
Absolutely, I agree. Like, I must preface, I do know Man City is the favourite, absolutely. But what I will say as well is, I've seen Club Brugge get draws at the Bernabeu when we've really needed it. So, and that was a worse team, arguably. So, I do think, even though Man City will probably win, if we're being honest, if Man City is not careful on the counter or something, Man City can really be in trouble.
Yeah, no, I agree. The counter-attack is our vulnerability. Okay, so in midfield, I think we're going to see Bernardo Silva. And
not sure. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, and Mateo Kovacic. I believe that's what we like to see in that midfield. And that'll be sort of more the defensive side. And then again, we have no players that are really fit, so the attack picks itself. So it'll be Savinho on the left-hand side, Foden on the right, and De Bruyne in the middle.
De Bruyne in the middle?
De Bruyne in the middle, yeah. Again, another player that was rested against Chelsea, so
yeah.
Again, he's going to be fresh for this game.
Came off the bench, didn't he?
Came off the bench, 10 minutes, just get the ball ticking over, man. So yeah, it was. He's going to be fresh for this game. And then Foden out there on the right-hand side. And then the big man up top.
I think this is a very controversial pick, LB.
Yeah.
I mean, Nicholas Jackson is better than him, isn't he?
Well, apparently so.
Oh, wait, I've got a better one. Here. There you go. This is who you wanted top.
The fake Haaland, yeah. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to see, man. I think that's going to be the starting 11.
Haaland
Go on. Yeah, I was just going to say, bro, he might play Gundogan instead of like Bernardo or Kovacic, but I don't think so. I think that's going to be the team that he's going to play. And to be honest, a lot of the positions we don't have a choice because of the injuries.
Nicky Hein and Simon Mignolet are currently in press conference, says Wim. I didn't even know about that. Haaland Supreme. Yeah, Haaland has played against us before, and did he get a brace or a hat-trick? I can't remember. He was supposed to join Club Brugge. We were almost going to get him. And then the board decided, he's not that good, we won't make money on him.
That's a bit of an L, isn't it?
It's a massive L. We pretty much had him. And then, one member in the board said, no, he's not good enough, we won't make enough money on him. And Salzburg ended up getting him. And ever since, I've been very salty watching Haaland score goals. It's been not fun, I suppose. But I'm just going to address one thing in that lineup you've gotten out. That is an old midfield. Like, if I look at Man City's midfield, I don't think the biggest problem is a defensive midfielder. I think it's just the age of the midfield. Like, you can't run. blatantly. Even if you're better on the ball, you just can't run and get outrun through the midfield often. Don't you think that maybe McAtee or Foden or something in midfield would help with that?
It would help, but like I say, I don't think you're going to be really playing a basketball game against us. I think you're going to sit there, so the lack of energy shouldn't really be too much of an issue. If it's anything like the Juventus game, I don't think that'll be a problem. I think it's about pinning you guys back and trying to break you down. I think it's more the sort of the end-to-end games that can be a bit of a problem. The ones with a bit more energy, a bit more intensity, where that midfield lack of energy in our midfield really causes a problem. I just don't see that being a major issue in a game like tomorrow, where I think Brugge are just going to sit there and just try and defend and hit us on the break a little bit. But we can control that ourselves. A little tactical foul here and there. You gotta be smart in these games. You need to use the dark arts. So
absolutely.
I don't see it being a major problem tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say that you're going to get outplayed in the midfield, but what I am going to say is, De Bruyne is going to end our title hopes. We'll talk about that in a second. What I am going to say is, for Man City, even if you, theoretically works on paper, Club Brugge, I'm not sure if you'll agree, is a lot more inspired to play, because we're trying to break a record for our biggest rivals. We've been overshadowed in earlier parts in Europe. We've had a very good campaign, whereas Man City hasn't really had a good campaign. Hopes are high. We got a draw against Kortrijk recently, but that's like Crystal Palace for Man City. It's always a draw in the end, no matter how the game goes. So I feel like Club Brugge is coming into this maybe better for. Sure, Man City did win against Chelsea, but Chelsea is not, I suppose, what it should be at the moment either.
No.
So I'll read something from chat here quickly. Hoping City can continue good form after Chelsea. Not saying we have turned a corner until the end of this week. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I don't think you can say we've turned a corner just because we beat Chelsea, who have won one game in the last 7 or something like that. So,
one game in the last 7? Is it that bad?
Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah, it's not good.
What's going on, like for real?
I don't know, bro. To be honest with you,
but yeah, for us, we're all awful right now.
Yeah, you can't say that we've turned a corner based off of one win. I mean, that's just ridiculous. What you can say, it gives us a platform to build off of. Yeah, that's what you can say. It gives us a platform, which is facts. It has given us a platform. Whether we take that opportunity to help build the platform is another story. Will we beat Bruges tomorrow? Who knows?
Yeah.
If we do win, then that's a big win. Two cup finals, really, if you think about it. So it's a massive game. I think if we beat Bruges, that'll give us a little bit of confidence going into the weekend's game against Arsenal. So I don't know what to expect. You can't really stand here or sit here or whatever and just predict what City you're going to be like, because every game we're different. So we don't know. If we play like we did in the second half against Chelsea, we'll beat you. If we play like we did in the first half or like we did against United in the last 5 minutes, we'll lose. I don't know. We'll have to see, bro. Don't know what to expect. I'm confident though. I'm confident we'll win tomorrow.
I think you should be confident. Going into it, my hope is a very scummy goal from Zolis, because Zolis and Jutla in particular, they both, in games you have no right to win, sometimes just score goals from outside of the box to win us a game you had no right to win. That is what I'm hoping for. Now, doing that against a team in the Belgian League is a big difference from doing that against Man City at the Etihad, of course. But that is really the only way I see us winning, because I don't think we can hold a 0-0 at the Etihad. I think we're gonna concede a goal. So if we want to get a draw, we still need to score it ourselves, I think. And I don't know how we scored, if not a scummy goal somewhere.
Yeah, no. It's like I say, bro. For me, the only way you score is a counter-attack transition or a set piece.
Yeah.
Because I just don't know why. Why would you open the game up? Why would you play a basketball game? You wouldn't do that. You're going to keep it tight, try and stop us from scoring. Maybe keep the eye on another game. I think you've got to look at was it the PSG Stuttgart game? Is it important for you guys?
Yeah, that's the game. If that's a draw, we're probably out if we lose against you. But if PSG or Stuttgart win, like either of them win, and you guys went against us, we're still going through, right? So as long as it's not a draw, we should be fine, Ted.
Right. So yeah, like I say, there's no need for you guys then to make this harder by stretching out the game. You know, you want to keep it defensively tight. You want to stay resolute defense, and then hit us on the break. And I think that's what you'll do. But I think we should have too much for you. Savinho, De Bruyne, and Foden should be enough. So
De Bruyne. I don't reckon you watched Belgian football in 2010. So De Bruyne, when he was coming onto the scene, we were in a title race. We hadn't won a title in 5 years. And De Bruyne decided to score a goal from outside of the box to end our title race. So I'm not happy to see him back.
Hold that, bro.
I'm not happy to see him coming back, but De Bruyne has... every time De Bruyne plays against us, he destroys us. Like, every single time. So De Bruyne is like... You ask any Club Brugge fan about De Bruyne, they're traumatized. They are traumatized. When he first came onto the scene, it was like Diego Maradona in Belgium. And that's kind of the level you're expecting to see as well, if they're playing in Belgium. Like, I've talked about this a lot as well. We're going on a side tangent now, but we'll come back to the main subjects. If you see a player in a league like Portugal, Belgium, Eredivisie, I don't know, Norway, you've got to look at how good are they playing, because if they look world class in that league, they're probably not world class. But if they're looking like Diego Maradona, like a Messi, like a player like that in this league, you take them to a bigger league, say Premier League, there's a big chance they still struggle in that league. So that is kind of the level you need to be getting in those leagues. What does everyone think of the new formats? Of the new Champions League formats?
I think it's mint, mate.
I disagree. I hate it.
Why do you hate it?
I think it's very unfair. I think the way the format works here is, like, Man City has won against Slovan Bratislava and Sparta Prague. That's your only 2 wins.
Yeah.
And if you beat us at the Etihad, you can still go through.
Right.
Meanwhile, we had to beat Aston Villa, beat Man City this season, had to beat Juventus, or draw Juventus, sorry, beat Man City this season, draw Celtic again, beat, who else did we fucking beat? Wait, who did we beat? Aston Villa, Sturmgras, of course. Sporting. So Sporting beat you at the Etihad. We had to beat them. You look at the teams we had to beat. All of them beat you this season, or in pre-season if you count that. So, and still you can qualify if you beat us. I find that to be quite unfair.
Right, bro. It's literally how a league works, isn't it? You could say that about the league. So, what about if in your league, yeah? So what about if you beat Genk home and away, but they still win the league? That's literally how a league table works, bro.
Yeah, but it's not the same because you play every team home and away in a league.
Yeah, but that was the same last year. So last year, you could have a team that had Barcelona and Bayern Munich in the league or someone like that in the old group stage. Whereas you could have a group which has Feyenoord, PSV, and maybe Feyenoord, Benfica, and Celtic in it. And then that's not fair on the team that's in the first group. It's just how a league phase works. I think it's great. I think if you don't qualify for the Champions League, you don't deserve it. You don't deserve it because you get 8 matches to qualify for the top 8. If you miss out on the top 8, you then have to finish in the top 24 to go into a playoff. If you don't beat the playoff, you get so many opportunities to get yourself in the last 16. If you can't get yourself in the last 16, you don't deserve to be there. It's as simple as that, bro.
I don't agree with that, though, because, I don't like the group stage either, by the way. I would much rather see a return of, the old European Cup format, where it's straight into round of 32. I just prefer that. But I think it's just, if you have this, league table, yeah? Club Brugge had a bad start to the season. Lost to Dortmund, lost to AC Milan. After that, either win or draw all the games against tough opponents. Now, 11 points we are on, I believe. A bit of bad luck in other fixtures, and we still have a chance to not qualify. Again, you're right about the thing about You're right in one sense that if you don't qualify, you don't deserve it, and that's how leagues work. But it's not really a league. Like that's my problem. It's called a league, but it's not a league. What I would rather see is, and I don't know if you know this reference, but if you ever watched the Katowice, I am Katowice, that's like a e-sport event. I would like a format like that maybe, where you play a game, and if you win, you play against another team that has won, and you play against teams that have your same record. And if you get to 3 wins, you qualify for the next stage. And if you can't get 3 wins, you're out. I would much rather see something like that, where you actually get tied against people who have, or teams should I say, who have the same history as you in the Champions League.
I don't think there's anything. I just think if you've not qualified, you don't deserve to be there, bro. That's my honest opinion. I think if you miss out on the top 8, you then have to finish in the top 24. If you can't finish in the top 24, you don't deserve to be there. If you then miss out on the playoff, you don't deserve to be there. It's as simple as that, bro. Yeah, we all got a tough game. City played Inter Milan. Yeah, I mean, that's a tough game. We played the Spanish champions Sporting Lisbon. Yeah, tough game.
Spanish champions.
Like, bro, it's that's just what it is, isn't it? Like, it's tough. Like, yeah, you guys have done all right, but you know, if you get knocked out, you get knocked out because you're not good enough. If we got knocked out tomorrow, we've been knocked out because we're not good enough. It's as simple as that, bro. 8 games, man, is more than enough to qualify. If you don't qualify, you need to improve. Simple as that. And that's what I'll be saying about City tomorrow if we get knocked out, and that's what you should be saying about Bruges if you get knocked out, man. You know what I mean?
I think it's easier to say that for a club who can spend the budget on a single player that Bruges spends in an entire year. But like, you see that as well?
Not really, bro, because that's football, isn't it? That's football, bro. You're then talking about something else.
I think
that's completely different.
Like I think we should have beaten Celtic. We missed too many chances. I think we should have beaten Dortmund. We should have not capitulated like we did. But I also think the red card on Uneditted in the AC Milan game was stupid. But no, we're not going to complain about referees. That's stupid. I still think that's just. I don't know. Maybe it's just we're not seeing eye to eye here, maybe, but I just think it's a dumb system where you play against certain teams, someone else plays against completely other teams, and you're all put in the same table. Like I just don't like that system.
Yeah, I think it's mint, man. Honestly, I think it's mint.
I think it gives us good games. I'll say that.
I think it's a mint system, and I think the only teams that don't qualify are the teams that don't deserve to qualify. You literally get so many opportunities, and if you don't qualify, then that's just because you're not good enough, man.
Yeah,
and it's as simple as that. Oh, look, and Brugge have done all right this year. You know, got some good wins in there. You know, you beat Villa, great win, but then you go and draw against Celtic. You know, that's not good. I thought you was really poor against Juventus. That was a home game as well. So yeah, it's tough to get out. It's tough for everyone to get out. You know, you look at your PSG at 22nd, City are not currently in there with 25th. You got Leipzig in 30th. Girona, you know, from Spain, Salzburg. You got some big teams down there, but the fact is, if you don't qualify for the last 16, it's because you don't deserve to be there, bro. And that's the truth.
I partially agree, and I've got a great comment as well from Dosilt here. Football is unfair, he says. I agree with that. Football is unfair, but I don't think that's like systems, like tournament formats, should be designed in an unfair way. I suppose what I can concede is any format will have an will be unfair in some way. Even if you go back to like European Cup formats, right? If you get like round of 32, you draw Real Madrid. Well, that's not fair, is it? Like you could draw, I don't know, Sturmgras or Real Madrid. It's not exactly fair to draw Real Madrid. So it's always going to be unfair, I think, and people will always complain. I like the new format for the games, and I hate it because it takes away the chance to drop down to Europa League, which is a tournament I actually think we have a chance of winning. So it's a bit of a split opinion there, but.
So basically, you say you want to be in the Europa League, right? Because you think you can win that better.
I think we can win the Europa League with this team. Like I genuinely think this team in the Europa League could probably win it.
So you say you talk about fairness. Is it fair that Club Brugge would then be relegated to the Europa League in the old format? That's not fair on the teams in the Europa League. You're talking about fairness. That's not fair.
I suppose it isn't. I suppose it isn't. Like, then you can have another argument about is this fair or that fair, but I think the Shield says it's perfectly. Football isn't fair. Like, if you draw Real Madrid in the round of 32, well, I would have rather played Sturmgras in the round of 32, but no, I have to play Real Madrid, right? So football isn't fair. I think the Shield has put it perfectly there.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm looking at your Champions League history, right? And you've only got out of the group stage once since 2020, since 1993, right?
Yeah, we've had. we were terrible before 2015. We were terrible before 2015.
But that's what I'm saying. So you've only got out of the group stage once since 1993, right? You now have an opportunity. But look at the groups that you used to get. The groups you used to get were so difficult. You used to have Paris, City, Leipzig. You're never getting out of that group. Yeah. You couldn't even get out of a group with Zenit, Lazio, Dortmund. The year before that, Galatasaray, Real Madrid, PSG, Dortmund, Atletico Madrid, Monaco. Like you were never ever qualifying out of these groups because they were too tricky. So what would happen is you would usually finish fourth, or you'd finish third, and you get relegated, right? And you relegated to the Europa League. You now have 8 games.
Sorry, go on.
You now have 8 games to not finish in the top 2 because that's what you used to have to do. Yeah, and you would never do it that. You now have 8 games to finish in the top 24. Yeah, yes. and then you get a one-off game or 2-leg game to try and get into the round of 16. I just think that, bro, if you don't think this is fairer than the old system, I don't know what you can say, man, because for me, it's clearly fairer than the old system. Because in the old system, you would never, ever, ever get out of the group stage. And that's proved history because you did it once since 1993.
Yeah, but if you look at our last 5 years as Brugge, the Belgian league is a lot better now than it was like 10 years ago. The quality has just improved a lot as well. A lot more eyes on the Belgian league. For some reason, it's very popular in Brazil, actually. So Belgian league has improved a lot. So we were terrible in Europe before. If you look at the last 5 years, a draw at the Bernabeu to get that 3rd spot for the Europa League. Okay, fair, unfair. That's a different argument. A terribly difficult group against Man City, Leipzig, PSG. I still think we could have maybe done something if we played better against Leipzig, but again, difficult group. Then you win against Atletico Madrid, win twice against Bayer Leverkusen. We do go on to round of 16. Conference League, we went to the semi-finals. I think it just shows how much the Belgian league has improved as well. If you compare the last 5 years to the 20 years before that, I think it shows how much the Belgian league has improved as well. But we're into an entirely different discussion now, aren't we? In this format, from Jets here, in this format, every team has 2 more favorable games. In the group stage, bad teams never got favorable games. Some good points here in Jets. Yeah, Belgian league has improved a lot, Rosa. Come again?
Yeah, it might have improved, right? But if you don't qualify for this playoff game, you'd look at it and think, well, you drew against Celtic, one of the easier games in your thing. You were really poor against Juventus, so you've only got yourselves to blame. If we get knocked out tomorrow, I'll be looking at the finals game. I'll be looking at not the Leverkusen, the Sporting Lisbon game. I'll be looking at these games. I'll be looking at tomorrow, going, we don't deserve to be in there.
I agree. There you go, man. 2 things can be true at once, right? Like, 2 things can be true at once. I don't like the system, like the format. I also think we missed like 3 or 4 big chances against Celtic, win that game, and we would not care about this game right now. So, 2 things can be true at once. So, yeah, I don't know. I just don't quite agree on that, and I'm not sure if I will ever agree on it. I just don't inherently like this format. I just don't think it's... I just don't like the format. Like, just simply put. There's maybe no logic to it. I just don't like it. I think it gives us very good games. I think it makes sure that big teams will never have a group of death also. Maybe that's just on me. So, final thing here that you'll up on. In this format we have more games too. I mean, more games is a bad thing in my opinion. Do you agree with that? More games is a bad thing.
I watch football every single day, so I don't really care. I'm quite happy to watch more games, bro.
Yeah, I'd rather watch like maybe one game every 3 days, but it's a very good game, than games every day, but everyone is started and playing like terribly.
Get your squad up, innit? They give you a 25-man squad for a reason, bro. So it's just the clubs are not.
It's not good enough. They need to do like Brazilian league, where you have like 30-man squads. In Brazil,
Well, they might end up doing that. I think I did see rumours going around actually that they was considering upping the limit of players. But this, if you have 25 players in your squad, yeah, that's more than 2 teams. Like, there's no excuses to be tired. It's just that clubs decide not to have. Teams want small squads. Pep Guardiola wants a small squad. Arteta wants a small squad. They all choose to have small squads. Get a 25-man squad. You allowed it. Clubs don't decide not to do it. That's their own fault. It's their own fault.
Weird stuff as well, because is it Jack Grealish who said that he would like take a pay cut to play less? I believe it was Grealish, right, in the treble season.
Yeah, I think so.
So, I mean, if Grealish is saying, pay me less and play me less, like just saying, but yeah. Going back on topic here. Last thing to finish up on. Club Brugge, as I said earlier, has gotten a draw at the Bernabeu when we really needed one. It's Gerdo, by the way, my goat. We've gotten a win against Atletico Madrid and a draw against Atletico Madrid when we needed it. We've gotten a win past tough teams in the Conference League, maybe not quite the same quality. Do you think Man City is going to be a bit too tough? What do you think Man City is going to be like? Why do you think Man City may or may not be too difficult for Club Brugge here?
I just think that you're just going to sit there. You're in a difficult situation in terms of what do you do, because obviously you've got to think about the other game as well, and that game could potentially impact how you play. But I would just be amazed if you opened up. Why would you open up when you don't need to? You open up, create space for City, yeah. Then
Haaland gets through and the game.
Yeah, like I just think that you're in a tricky. I think you're in a tricky situation, because if you open up against us, we could then take the lead, which then might see you get knocked out if the result in the other game goes a certain way. I just think you're going to sit there, defend, keep it tight, and just try and get a draw. Because I just don't. Why would you try and win the? Because if you try and win the game from the off by pressing us and getting forward,
I don't think that's what we want to do. I think what we want to do is maybe begin with score rush, a lot of work rate, try to just hold the game at 0-0 until late, then try near the end of the game to push forward, try to get a win. That's what we did against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu. Ended up only getting a draw. Ruud Vormer, questionable red cards, but again, we're not going to talk about referees here. But I feel like just because we're going to defend most of the game doesn't mean we have to defend all game, and doesn't mean we have to play solely from the counter. What Club Brugge is really good at right now, with Nicky Hayen, who, remember his name by the way, Nicky Hayen. This guy took over the job when we were 9 points down in a title race. Went on to win the title, beating Anderlecht home and away, and got us to a semi-final in the Conference League. This is an incredibly good manager. We had a terrible start to the season because he could not figure out how to make the new signings work. He has figured that out now. I do believe somewhere Nicky Hayen can potentially do something to get a result. But I must acknowledge, Man City is probably going to win. If I had to say, I'd say if you played this game 5 times, Man City wins 4 times out of 5. If I have to say honestly. I think 1 out of 5 times you get a draw, 1 out of 5 times, maybe 1 out of 10 times you get a win.
Yeah, I think we'll win the game.
Okay.
I think it'll be maybe like 2-0, something like that, 2-0, 3-0.
Yeah. I was just about to ask your final predictions as well. Yeah, I'm going to have to go with something very optimistic here. 1-1. Yeah. I don't actually believe it, but I have to be optimistic here.
You got to be optimistic, bro.
Yeah. I think we just have to hope, and if we don't go through, I mean, it's our own fault in one regard. On the other side,
so if you get beat,
yes,
you can go through unless it's a draw. Is that what you're saying?
if PSG and Student, or sorry, not Student class, PSG and Stuttgart, is that it?
Yeah.
Draw, then we're done. But if PSG or Stuttgart win, I think then we're through, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think you're right. Is it goal difference? Yeah.
I think we have a point more. I'm not sure.
Yeah. But if you lose the game and they draw, then they've both got better goal differences than you, which is why you'll get knocked out. You get knocked out on goal difference.
Yeah.
Wow, that's unfair.
It sucks.
But
I mean,
yeah.
What I will say, now I'm arguing the opposite point against you. I do think Jutla should have made sure he was on side against Celtic. Was on side there, would not have been difficult. He'd have had a free goal. Never should have been offside there. So I will come back to that Celtic game as for why we're even talking about this game right now. I would much rather prefer to be like, I don't care about this game. Just watch it lose. Okay, who cares, right? But Jutla was offside because he didn't pay attention against Celtic, and then we drew.
You've also got a couple of other games though, bro, going on. You've got the Sporting Lisbon game.
Yes.
So if they and you've got Dynamo Zagreb, they're the only two teams that can overtake you from the teams that we've mentioned, and Benfica as well.
Yeah.
But I don't see why. I don't think it's just the PSG game and Stuttgart, is it? It's this Benfica.
Yeah, I've looked at the table before, but I just look at the games like Juventus. That's like a guaranteed draw nowadays. So I just don't have hope in those games.
But Bologna are playing Sporting Lisbon, and Sporting Lisbon have lost their last three, and Bologna have got a draw and a win in their last two games in the Champions League. So,
but I think when it really matters, Sporting Lisbon will get a win, especially at home.
Yeah, maybe Zagreb are playing AC Milan.
Yeah, they're not winning against AC Milan, but
so that means there's only one team that can overtake you then.
No.
So I think you're going to be well unlucky here if you get knocked out.
Yeah, we'd be incredibly unlucky, but it's pessimism. Like, you need to understand. I grew up in like the 2000s, right? The first season I watched Club Brugge. We won the cup. Then we went on to bottle 8 league titles in 10 years and win no trophies. So I am used to bad luck. So there is a lot of pessimism around Club Brugge. Because, I mean, bowling 8 league titles in 10 years is ridiculous, but now I'm trauma dumping. I've got from the chat here, and this is a running joke here in the channel. And Solly's hat-trick is due. Club Brugge 3-3. So, Solly's, I mean, he's a really good player. I'll just tell you guys that, but as I've said a lot, he's not as good as you guys think. He just looks very good in the Belgian league. But anyhow, thank you for coming on, LP. I've actually emailed quite a few channels before. You're the biggest channel I've ever emailed, and you're the only one who answered. I was like, he's never going to respond. I just emailed, and I was very surprised. So, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it a ton.
Yeah, no worries, man.
Honestly, I would prefer if Man City wins and we still go through. If I'm being honest, like 3-0 down, give up, and still go through because results elsewhere are better. Because then we go play Antwerp, probably a bit more rested. I would prefer that, but I just don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to look at a very unlucky end of the season, end of the Champions League season here. On one hand, you could say that's better for the playoffs than playing against Genk in the playoffs, but still not going to win on time. Like, this is also important for the Belgian league. Playoffs is a very weird system, but you play against the best teams in the Belgian league, right? In the playoffs. Genk just can't get a win against the best teams. I don't think they're going to win a league. I don't think they'll win the league title. I think they'll crumble in the playoffs. They always do. They always do. But that's entirely besides the point. 3-1 City, Haaland 2 times, Haaland 2 times, and Guardiola scored 1. I honestly don't know why everyone thinks we'll score. Is your defense that bad? You can't keep a sheet, can you?
Yeah, our defense isn't great, to be honest with you, bro. So, although tomorrow John Stones is back, so hopefully, but we just make errors, we make bozo mistakes, man. So,
yeah, thank you for coming
issue.
on. Anything else?
Bro. Good to be here, man.
See?
Nah, good luck, bro. You know what I mean? Good luck, bro. Tomorrow, see what happens, innit?
I hope we can both advance.
That'd be nice, man. That'd be nice. But yeah, big up for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
I'll probably be watching the PSG game more than the Club Brugge game.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
Yeah.
thank you for coming on.